The share price of German technology giant Wirecard has completely collapsed in the past 2 days on news that they are missing about $2 billion in cash, which was previously listed in their balance sheet. On Thursday, their auditor Ernst & Young had said that they could not verify the existence of about $2 billion in cash that Wirecard claimed to have had. As a result of that, the stock price completely collapsed. On a technical basis, I believe that what happened was that after the news broke out, the share price was pretty much halted. Google shows different than what TradingView shows, but it opened at around 65 bucks here, continued falling, recovered a bit, and now has continued to fall. It has hit lows of 19 euros this morning, which is about midday in the German trading session. And now we are up a little bit since then, but we're still down 75% since yesterday morning. And this is not just a small company that has been involved in some accounting scandal. This is a Wirecard, a DAX 30 component, which is the equivalent of a Dow 30 component in the United States, but in Germany. And so that's about as bizarre as saying that McDonald's or Walmart has committed accounting fraud and it's now down 80%. The analogy doesn't quite work out given the difference in size, but again, America's equity market is a lot larger, so adjusting for that, this is one of the largest companies in Germany. Pretty bizarre and wild to see. This is absolutely pretty interesting. We've seen companies that were US listed, such as Luckin Coffee, commit an accounting scandal over here. It's still a company based in China, and as a Chinese person myself, I can say that the number of accounting frauds in China do exceed those in the United States by quite a bit, for accounting is not taken as seriously over there as it is in the United States, at least, where the culture of strict and accurate financial reporting is very heavily prized. But still, you would not expect this type of thing to happen in Germany. Many people have been calling this the largest German fraud in modern history. Over $2 billion that was not lost, but simply never existed. News today was that the CEO has resigned after the search for the $2 billion have indicated that the money never existed in the first place. I believe what happened yesterday was that after the news broke out, Wirecard executives were working with the auditor Ernst & Young to prove that the money did indeed exist. And to prove that it existed, I believe that they pointed towards two banks in the Philippines, which they say that the money was stored there. However, the banks in the Philippines have said that the money never existed. The money has never existed. Two banks have said that the documents that were to prove that they were indeed a customer of the banks were forged, and the entire incident is spurious. And as a result, the CEO has resigned, as did another executive to my understanding. And now the company is in serious financial trouble, as its creditors are allowed to revoke about $2 billion in loans that it had given out to Wirecard previously, if they couldn't prove that the money actually existed, which they didn't prove. And now I believe they were saying that they were in talks with their creditors to sort of secure funding for the short term while they work out these internal problems. As for whether or not they may be successful, it's still up in the air, but the market has indeed spoken that this is a very, very serious incident, and it's not just a rumor by any means. Even yesterday, when the company itself denied that the money was gone, the market sort of already priced in that the fraud was there. And today we just sort of seen a continuation of what we've seen yesterday. And, it's pretty bizarre to see. We were down 80% at one point today. We're still down 75%. And a lot of people have been saying that this might be the end of Wirecard if the creditors terminate their line of credit. They wouldn't have enough cash to operate for the foreseeable future. I think that it's certainly possible that happens. A lot of people have also suggested that the German government may step in and provide a line of credit to the company, given that they replaced their executives and launched an internal investigation into everything that went wrong, which I think is the more likely scenario given the size of Wirecard. This isn't just a penny stock, remember. This is a DAX 30 component. It's like saying if McDonald's was on the verge of bankruptcy. I keep on using McDonald's as an example since I'm quite hungry, but you get the point. Dow Jones component suddenly is on the verge of bankruptcy for an accounting scandal. You'd imagine a lot of people would try to step in to save the company simply due to its size. And I think that's likely what might happen to Wirecard. If you look at its balance sheet, I think it's actually not in as terrible of a financial situation as some might say. The current assets exceed the current liabilities by about as much as the missing money was worth. So it's possible we will see that this event blow over if they can secure a short-term line of credit. Obviously, the valuation of the company is going to be severely damaged moving forward, but I don't think it's going to be the beginning of the end for Wirecard if they do secure more credit. I think they're still profitable. They're certainly a real company. It's not as though it's entirely just some sort of a money laundering scheme. I think that the valuation for this company might not exceed $50 for a long time, but it might just be in this area. Apparently, the people that were short Wirecard and suspected it of fraud have since become bullish on the company and said that the risk reward is now pretty good. And supposedly a lot of people have saw this coming. A lot of the analysts that did a lot of research on Wirecard specifically, and they've been saying that Wirecard has been making up clients and doing business with itself essentially. And when the money didn't really get transferred in the end, because again they're doing business with themselves, and the auditors sort of just took the word of its subsidiaries and never really audited the specific $2 billion until now. And as a result, this is what happens. The stock price fell 75%. You don't see this happen very often at all. We might see this recover a little bit in the future, but I don't think the valuation is going to be nearly as high as where it was over here. The legacy of this company may just be forever tainted, but I don't think it is the end of the company, at least not for the time being. So with all that being said, thank you very much for listening to my analysis on Wirecard, and I wish you best of luck in your trading. Take care.